What's up YouTube, Silver Dragons here. In this video, I'm going to give you a shop tour and show you all the equipment that you need to pour your own silver, gold, copper, aluminum, tin, you name it. Let's do it. Thank you so much for watching my video. I sincerely appreciate it. This is going to be a fun one. If you have any interest in pouring gold, silver, copper, aluminum, whatever, I'm going to show you all the equipment that you need in this video. And let's get into this. There's a lot of equipment you can buy. Right in front of you here, I got a couple furnaces. We're going to get to those in a sec. And I also will mention, I'm going to put links to pretty much all of the stuff I show you in the description of this video down below. So you can click on those links and see either the items exactly that I'm showing you or comparable items. Yeah, so let's start off with safety equipment. So before you can pour silver, gold, copper, whatever, I personally pour silver. I'm about to get into some copper pouring. But you're going to need some safety equipment. So gloves are a must. Now, these are pretty much just welding gloves. I bought these at a local box store. They're really cheap. I think they were around 10 bucks. But you're going to need heavy leather gloves. You don't want to burn yourself. This stuff gets very, very hot. So you're definitely going to want those. And then also you're going to need some safety glasses. I got a couple different pairs here. Just kind of depends on what I'm pouring. But yeah, so really any safety glasses will do. Just sometimes it splashes and you don't want it to splash you in the face and ruin your eyes. Okay, so now when you're melting the silver, copper, gold, whatever you're going to be melting, there's several different ways to do it. Now I use an electric furnace, which both of these are electric furnaces. So you can either do it that way, or you can either get like a propane furnace or melt with a torch. There's different types of torches you can use to melt your metals. I would recommend, if you're going to go the torch route, you're going to need the hottest torch you could possibly get. My torch that I actually have a couple different torches, but they're all the same kind. They're MAP gas torches like this one here. And these do get pretty hot. But if you were going to want to melt with just one of these bad boys, I'd probably recommend getting a couple of them. And also, it's not a bad idea to build some sort of a kiln or little space where it'll trap the heat, because if you're just using torches like this to melt it, these little hand torches, the heat's going to just go everywhere. So you're going to need probably a couple MAP gas torches, and then build, either using bricks or some sort of oven to keep the heat in. These are really awesome. You're probably going to want to get some of these no matter what kind of pouring you're doing. These are basically heat resistant bricks. These are made for really high temperatures. I actually bought these online, and these are way better than like regular bricks, because I've heard of these regular bricks like exploding. So you probably don't want to use these around the heat. If you're putting a lot of heat on something, I'd recommend getting bricks like this that are made for high heat and aren't going to blow up on you. So anyway, you can go the torch route like a lot of people do. And if you do go the torch route, you're going to need a whip, which is basically just a little cup or dish to hold your silver in. And you'll melt it, and then you'll take that little cup and you'll pour it into a mold or a cast or whatever. And we'll get to that stuff in a sec. But that's basically how that works. And that's a very popular method. A lot of people do the whip pours. Those type of pours are really good for if you want a specific weight. So I don't pour that way, but if you wanted to pour like just, for instance, 1 ounce pours, then you could just melt 1 ounce of silver with a little bit of extra, and then that's all you have in your dish. You pour it out, now you have a 1 ounce pour. So if you want to get all pours that are exactly the same weight, that's a great way to do it. I might get to that in the future, but the way I'm doing it right now is with the electric furnace. Now this is the backbone of my shop. This is my main electric furnace. I love this one. I'll put a link to one similar to this in the description for sure. But I bought this one a while ago. It hasn't been quite a year yet, but it's still holding up great. Haven't had any issues with it. All you do is you literally plug it into a regular wall socket, turn it on, and then you got to give it about 30 minutes to heat up. and you can see I have it set to 1095 right there. That's for silver pouring, so that's right around 2000-ish Fahrenheit. But yeah, it'll just start heating up. And then in the top, this is a 2 kilogram version. This is actually a ratty old Crucible. I need to get a new Crucible. I actually have one, I just need to throw it in there. But essentially you just put your silver in there, it'll melt it down, and then you can pour it. So really, really easy. If you're an amateur, beginner, just starting, these electric furnaces are pretty much the way to go. They're, I think, the easiest for any amateur, but there is a little bit of a cost to get into it. The one on the left is a little under $300. The one on the right is a little over $400. I just picked this one up. I haven't used it yet, but it can get hotter than that one. So for copper, this one's a little bit better. And so I'm gonna try and use this one for copper, that one for silver, but I need to test this one out some more. I'm really excited to start using that. But anyway, I'll shut this down here. So that's pretty much everything you need to heat it up. And then we can talk about pouring. So I have these here. These are called tongs. This is what you use to lift the crucible out of the furnace. So I'll give you a quick example here. This one here, this is probably my favorite one because I've used it the most, but it's not great. It came with the furnace, but pretty much all you do is you just sort of fit it into those grooves. There you go. Pick it up, and then you pour it out. And then you put it back in. Super simple. Boom. So you never actually have to touch the 2000 degree graphite crucible, which is nice. But these tongs come in different varieties. This one's for that one. This one here is better for this one. And then I did buy this one, which I don't like as much, but you could use it with either, really. So you can get different kinds of tongs, kind of just depends on your preference. Then I always use something like these long needle nose pliers to actually put more silver in the crucible when I need to add it, because I don't want to get my hand super close, and also when you drop it in, sometimes it'll splash. So get a pair of long needle nose pliers. And then also if you're doing mold pouring, some of your molds will be kind of big. And so get some nice beefy like a wrench or pliers or something so you can actually grab your molds and flip the silver out or gold or whatever you're pouring when you're done. So now let's talk about molds and that kind of stuff. Okay, so I set out a bunch of different stuff here. I've got a bunch of molds and stuff for casting and then all my stamping stuff. So I'm gonna kind of go over what all of this is and what you would use it for. So once you get your silver, copper, gold, whatever melted down and you are ready to pour it into something, what most people use are these graphite molds up here. So these are made of graphite, which is like pencil lead, you know, pretty much. If you rub your finger on it, it'll turn black. You see that there. And these can get extremely hot. You can get these up to thousands of degrees. They will turn red hot, just like the Crucible does. But pretty much you just pour into one of these bad boys and then it makes that shape. One thing I will say is you don't want to pour into them when they're cold. You want to heat them up first, so definitely get a torch at least for heating up your graphite molds. What I do is, let's say if I wanted to pour a heart, I would just throw the torch on there for probably 10 seconds, make sure it gets pretty hot, then I can pour my silver into it, then I got a silver heart. Now, after you've poured it, what you want to do is dump it out. You'll need to cool it in a bucket of water, so you'll need a bucket that's full of water. It doesn't have to be hot water, cold water, it literally doesn't matter. You just quench it, you throw it in there for like 3 seconds, so it'll stop sizzling, and then it's cool to the touch. You can pretty much hold it with your bare hands at that point. So you've got your silver heart poured. Then the next step is to weigh it. So you're gonna need a little scale. I use one like this. I'll put a link to that one in the description. And of course you're gonna have to weigh in troy ounces because silver is a precious metal. So you weigh it, and then you're gonna need to stamp it. So before I talk about stamping, let me show you the other thing you can pour into is one of these molds like this. These are for casting. I use Delft Clay, which is this stuff right here. I buy this off of eBay usually. Let's see, I bought, the first purchase I made was 50 pounds and it still lasted me quite a while. So I have a ton of this. This is actually a separate little batch that I got from someone else. This isn't even my main source of clay. But anyway, you use the clay and you put it in these casts, and I don't have to tell you what casting is, but pretty much you can make any three-dimensional shape you want. Super fun. If you want to get into casting, do more research on that, but essentially they look like this. They come in all different shapes and sizes. So those are that. And if you're going to do casting, you're also going to need some sort of hammer or something to sort of smash the clay in there, and then a scraper, of course, to like scrape it off the top. And there's a couple other things you'll probably need, like a squeegee, or I'm sorry, not a squeegee, a little blower to sort of blow out some of the fine pieces of sand that land in your mold. And probably a big pan. I use like a big baking sheet to put all my work on when I'm doing casting, so it doesn't get everywhere. It kind of keeps it all in one place. But that's pretty much all you need for casting. People also use Petrobond, not just the Delft Clay. Petrobond is a lot more expensive, and it works great. So anyway, you have your final piece poured and you're ready to stamp. Now I've got a couple different hammers here. I use this heavier hammer, 3-pound hammer. So I use a 3-pound hammer to pound my logo stamp into the pieces. This is my dragon here. I'm Silver Dragons, baby. And this is my signature logo stamp that I put on all my poured pieces of art. I'd recommend getting one custom made. I got mine made from a shop off of Etsy. I think this was around 60 bucks or something. You could probably get them cheaper or more expensive, depends on where you get them, but it's really nice touch to have your own custom logo stamp. And then I bought these stamps from a big box store, but they're basically just all the letters. Let's see, they're 1/8 inch steel stamping set. These are super, super cheap. I think it was like 10 or 15 bucks. I don't really recall. And then I also have my 999 fine silver stamp from Impress Art. This saves a lot of time. You don't have to stamp a 999 FS. You just use this stamp one time for that. So that goes on all the pieces. And then, of course, I have my period right here. If I'm doing like a 1.5 ouncer, that is the point. So super high tech there. What I stamp onto, I'm still using, this is like a rubber stamping pad. This sort of absorbs the blow, and most of the time I'll use just this old wallet to kind of hold them in place. It's just leather and it works pretty well. I might have to figure out a better stamping setup, but right now that's still working for me. So that's sort of what you pour it into and stamping. Now let me talk about polishing and cleaning up your pours. Okay, so for polishing and cleaning, basically what I do is I'll have a piece of silver similar to this one. This one's pretty much already done, but it usually, once you pour them, this is a cool little Ripple bar, 1 ounce 2019. Once you pour them, there'll usually be a tiny bit of like either graphite stuck on the top or sort of just a little bit of schmutz. That's usually from the Crucible or either the mold it's going into or whatever. And what I like to do to get that off is I'll use my Dremel. I just put one of these cheap little, I guess, polishing bits in there. I got a whole bunch of them for super, super cheap. And then I'll use the Goddards silver polish foam, and I'll just put it on the lowest setting. Usually I put it on like 10 or even a little bit lower, and I'll just sort of clean off the top so that the top is all clean. Then I'll usually clean off the bottom as well, just make sure it's all really nicely cleaned. And then once I have my piece of silver cleaned, then what I'll do is I'll tumble it. So I got a couple tumblers. They're pretty much both the same thing. I got those from a big box store. But what I tumble them in is this stuff here called Shine Bright Burnishing Compound. This will get them nice and shiny. So this is pretty much the go-to. This is a concentrate though. You have to water it down, which is why I got a big jug like this. You just mix it with water, whatever the directions are. And then I throw it into one of these tumblers. This is all stainless steel shot. This is like a jeweler's mix is what they call it. So you throw it in there, you tumble it for half hour, hour, however long it takes to get nice and shiny. And then you're left with a nice little pretty pour when you're all said and done with it. So that's really awesome. I love doing the shiny pours. That's probably one of my favorite thing to do. But if you were going for an antiqued look, you get something like this here, liver of sulfur, and you can get a nice antiqued look on your silver. I do have another thing that works pretty well. It's this here. It's called the Jack's Silver Blackener. You're going to want to probably heat up your silver first before you use one of those products on it. But they both work pretty much the same. You just add it to the surface of the product. It'll interact with the silver and make it darker. And then you can either clean it off with your Dremel or whatever you want to do to sort of get that final feel. So those are sort of what I use to finish the pieces. Again, I'll put links to pretty much all this stuff in the description of the video. That is everything you need to pour your own silver, copper, gold, aluminum, whatever you want to pour. You will be successful if you use similar tools. If you have any comments or anything you'd like to add, something that I missed, definitely drop those down below in the comment section. And I want to say massive thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Silver Dragons out.